You've got a great app idea, and you're excited to start building. Maybe it's something you've been thinking about for months, or maybe inspiration just struck. Either way, you open your laptop, fire up your favorite code editor, and start writing that very first line of code. In the beginning, everything feels simple and manageable. At first, all your code fits neatly in a single folder. It's easy to find what you need, and you know exactly where everything lives. You might even feel a little proud of how organized it all looks. But as your project grows, maybe you add a website, mobile apps, backend services, or even just more features, that tidy folder can quickly spiral out of control. Suddenly, it's like a junk drawer stuffed with random files, folders within folders, and code you barely remember writing. Every major tech company faces this challenge. How do you organize millions of lines of code so that dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of developers can work together efficiently? How do you make sure teams can fix bugs quickly, launch new features without breaking things, and keep everything running smoothly? The way you structure your code base isn't just about tidiness. It fundamentally shapes how your team collaborates, how fast you can move, and how easily you can scale as your project and team grow. It can mean the difference between smooth sailing and constant headaches. Make the right choice early, and you'll save yourself endless hours of frustration, confusion, and technical debt. Your future self and your teammates will thank you. Think of it like Lego bricks. If you only have a small set, keeping everything in one box works just fine. You can find the pieces you need quickly, and building is a breeze. But if you're building an entire Lego city, things get complicated. Do you dump all the bricks into one giant bin and hope for the best? Or do you sort them by color, size, or project so you can find exactly what you need when you need it? That's the core debate in software development. Monorepo versus Polyrepo. Do you keep all your code in one massive repository, or do you split it up into smaller, focused repos for each part of your project? Monorepo is like having one giant bin for all your tools and materials. Everything's in one place, which can make sharing and reusing code easier, but it can also get messy fast if you're not careful. Polyrepo, on the other hand, is like having lots of smaller, clearly labeled boxes. Each box holds just what you need for a specific task or project, making things easier to manage. But sometimes it can be harder to keep everything in sync. Each approach has its own trade-offs. What works for a giant company like Google or Facebook might be total overkill for a small startup or solo developer. Your team's size, workflow, and goals all play a part in what's best for you. In this video, we'll break down both models, explore their pros and cons, and give you the tools to decide which approach fits your next big project. Whether you're building alone or with a team, understanding how you store your code can set you up for long-term success. Let's dive in. Scene transition. The all-in-one approach. In the world of software development, teams are always searching for ways to work smarter, not harder. One strategy that's gained a lot of traction is the Monorepo. A monorepo is a single repository that holds the code for multiple projects. Think a photo editor, video editor, and audio tool all in one place. Instead of juggling dozens of separate code bases, everything lives together under one roof, making it easier to manage and coordinate. Each project has its own folder, plus a shared folder for common code like buttons or login screens. This shared space is where teams put reusable components, utilities, and libraries that everyone can access. Update a shared component, and every app benefits instantly. No more copying and pasting fixes across dozens of projects. One change, and it's reflected everywhere. It's like a shared kitchen. Everyone has their own cupboard, but uses the same pots and pans. This analogy helps explain how resources are pooled for efficiency, while still allowing teams to keep their unique flavors. This setup makes it easy to keep things consistent and share resources. Teams can enforce coding standards, automate testing, and ensure that best practices are followed across every project. Developers get full visibility. They can see and trace changes across the entire stack. This transparency helps catch bugs early, understand dependencies, and track the evolution of the code base over time. One repo, one source of truth. There's no confusion about where to find the latest version of a component or which project owns a piece of code. Collaboration is easier, and silos are broken down. Teams can work together more closely, share knowledge, and help each other solve problems faster. But it's not just about convenience. It's about building a unified, maintainable code base. Over time, this approach leads to higher quality software and a more agile team. When you join the team, you get access to everything at once. Onboarding is faster, and new developers can start contributing right away without waiting for access to a dozen different systems. That's the Monorepo philosophy. Maximum visibility, maximum collaboration, and a foundation for building great software together. Scene transition. The many baskets method. In the world of software development, there are different ways to organize your code, and the Polyrepo approach is all about keeping things separate and distinct. In a Polyrepo, each project lives in its own separate repository. Imagine a photo editor, a video editor, and an audio tool, all existing in their own isolated spaces. Each project is like its own little island, with its own code, its own history, and its own rules. Each team owns their code base, sets their own rules, and works independently. This means teams can focus on what matters most to them without worrying about how their changes might affect unrelated projects. It's like every student having their own mini kitchen. Total control, total autonomy. You decide what ingredients to use, how to cook, and when to serve your dish without having to coordinate with others in a shared kitchen. Teams can experiment, choose their own tools, and release on their own schedules. If one team wants to try a new programming language or framework, they can do so without waiting for approval from other teams. No need to coordinate with other teams for every change. This independence can lead to faster development cycles and more innovation, since teams aren't held back by dependencies or bureaucracy. This approach is all about independence and specialization. Teams can become true experts in their domain, focusing deeply on their own product or service. Each repo is a self-contained unit, making it easier to reason about and manage. If you need to onboard a new developer, they only need to understand one code base, not a massive interconnected system. Updates and deployments can happen at each team's pace. If one project is ready to ship, it doesn't have to wait for others to catch up. Polyrepo is about decoupling. Projects are independent and teams move fast. This flexibility is especially valuable in fast-paced environments where speed and agility are key. It's a popular choice for microservices and large organizations with many teams. When you have dozens or even hundreds of teams, keeping things separate can help prevent chaos and confusion, but it comes with its own set of challenges. While polyrepos offer freedom and flexibility, they can also introduce complexity in other ways. Scene transition. Why choose a monorepo? The advantages are big, especially for complex systems. First, simplified dependency management, one version of shared code, no conflicts. Atomic commits let you update multiple projects in one go, no risk of leaving things out of sync. Large-scale refactoring is easier. Rename a function once, and it updates everywhere. Code sharing is natural. Teams build reusable components instead of duplicating work. Consistency across products improves user experience. Collaboration is built in. Everyone works from the same playbook. New features and bug fixes can be rolled out across all projects at once. Monorepos foster a culture of sharing and speed up development. For teams that value consistency and collaboration, it's a powerful model, but it's not without its downsides. Scene transition. Monorepos have real challenges. As the repo grows, performance can suffer. Cloning and testing take longer. New developers face a steep learning curve with so much code in one place. A broken build in one project can block everyone else. Teams lose some autonomy. One mistake can impact all. Managing access control is tricky. Everyone can see everything by default. Sensitive code is harder to isolate. Specialized tooling is often required to keep things running smoothly. Monorepos demand discipline and investment in infrastructure. Scene transition. Polyrepos shine when it comes to ownership and speed. Each team controls their own repo, tools, and release schedule. Builds and tests are faster. Only the relevant code is touched. Smaller repos are easier to manage and onboard new developers. Teams can move independently, deploying updates when ready. Access control is simple. Grant access to just one repo. Security and permissions are easier to manage. Polyrepos fit well with microservices and open source projects. If you need flexibility and autonomy, Polyrepo is a strong choice. Teams can innovate without waiting for others, but separation comes with its own set of headaches. Scene transition. Polyrepos aren't perfect. Managing dependencies across repos can be a nightmare. Version mismatches and dependency hell are common. Code discovery is harder. Searching across many repos is tedious. Collaboration suffers. Teams may duplicate work without realizing it. Large-scale changes require coordination across multiple repos. Tooling and standards can drift, creating technical debt. Keeping everything in sync takes effort. Polyrepos demand strong processes for versioning, collaboration, and tooling. The freedom comes at a cost. Scene transition. Your repo choice shapes your workflow and tooling. Monorepos need specialized build tools like Bazel, Buck, or NX to handle scale and speed. Centralized teams manage infrastructure, ensuring fast builds and reliable deployments. Polyrepos are decentralized. Each team manages their own builds, tests, and releases. The challenge is orchestrating dependencies and versions across repos. Package managers and CI/CD pipelines are essential for keeping things running smoothly. Tools like NPM, Maven, and Dependabot help manage updates and avoid dependency chaos. The right tooling is critical, whichever model you choose. Your workflow will depend on how you structure your codebase. Scene transition. So which should you pick? It depends on your team size, project type, and culture. Small teams are closely related projects. Monorepo is simple and collaborative. Big companies with many independent teams. Polyrepo offers autonomy and flexibility. Monorepo is great for consistency and shared code. Polyrepo excels at independence and security. Start simple. Monorepo is often easier for new projects. As you grow, you can split into polyrepos if needed. The key is to be intentional and understand the trade-offs. Choose the structure that helps your team build better and faster with fewer headaches. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, but now you know how to decide. If you learned something new, like the video, share your thoughts in comment section, and don't forget to subscribe the channel for more related videos.